I really like to start those talks about sustainability with a brief introduction of what happened on our site prior to us acquiring the site and constructing the towers there. You see on the right hand the exterior view of the building that stood on our site before. It was a huge, beautiful palais built there in the late 19th century. The building was hit in the war by a single bomb, and you can see photos out of the 1970s how this building on our site looked in the early 70s. Upper right photo shows you that it's basically working. The structure is okay. It's a beautiful heritage building in the inner core city of one of the major cities of Germany, and what they did in the late 70s, they just cracked the structure away to sell the plot with a higher profit. From a sustainability perspective and from a cultural heritage perspective, this is simply unbelievable, and I could not imagine things like this happening in the year 2000 or 2010 or 11 anymore. But these were the 70s. Let me just tell you that in parallel to us acquiring this site, after this has been cracked down, there were even some plans in the inner city of Frankfurt, in our direct neighborhood, to crack down the old opera house and construct a high-rise there, because the plot is in the middle of the city and there has to be a high-rise. So fortunately, the old opera is still there, and we love to go there. This just as a little thought on the broader view of what sustainability in real estate means. What you see here on the lower left, you see two photographs of our construction site in the early 80s. As I said, Deutsche Bank acquired the plot in the late 70s to construct its new headquarters there, since the old headquarters was simply too small. And those photographs are pretty interesting for the energetic refurbishment we performed now in the recent years, because what you see here is that fortunately this high-rise has been constructed as an in-situ concrete building, as a massive concrete building, tube-in-tube construction, all poured in concrete, not a steel construction, but which would have been the standard way of construct high-rises. And this way of constructing the building, of course, offers huge opportunities in terms of energy saving, heat storage, what we heard earlier. So we were very thankful when outlining our refurbishment in the year 2006 and 2007 to find this structure of the building. Briefly on the history of the project, we started with thoughts about what to do with the Taunusanlage building in the year 2004. It all started with a change with a regulatory change by the city of Frankfurt for its high-rises, which made some improvements in fire protection systems in the building necessary. We digged into this, what this would mean for our high-rise, and suddenly it turned out that there would be a lot of refurbishment works necessary, and then we said, well, the building is now up and running for about 25 years, which is a reasonable life cycle schedule for a modern office building, so why not undergo full refurbishment, strip this building complete down except for the concrete shell, and build it up and try to show what is, from a technological perspective, possible when refurbishing office buildings and giving them a new life cycle. This is especially important because we strongly believe that the key issue is not outlining and constructing green buildings somewhere on a green field on a new plot as a lighthouse buildings, but that, and you've said it before, that the key task we have to solve for the future is how to deal with our existing building stock, with our existing office building stock in the cities. When you just imagine that, for example, in London, Approximately 90% of the existing office area in the inner city of London is more than 25 years old. So basically, all of the office areas in London will go intensive refurbishment within the next years, and this is the figure we have to deal with, and not putting a new building somewhere on the greenfield. The figures for other Western European cities, of course, are comparable. So we started in 2007 outlining the project, finalized the whole thing in 2010, and moved in between February 2010 and between November 2010 and February of this year, and right now we're back with approximately 3,050 happy bankers being back in their beautiful towers. So let me just quickly flip through what we've done from a technological perspective there. Again, with the background, we've heard it before that introducing green and energy-saving features to buildings is not about rocket science. It's just about thinking twice on what you're doing and applying existing and proved technology to your building in a sensible way, work with local companies. It's not rocket science. We're not flying to the Mars. We're just thinking twice about what we're doing. And this was the main approach for this project. Let me briefly tell you what we've done and what the results have been. Of course, key issue for a building, we heard it before, is heating and cooling. Whilst especially in an office building compared to apartment or housing buildings, what we've heard earlier, in an office buildings, in our geographical situation, the cooling issue is the more important compared to the heating issue, since compared to an apartment building, you got far more inner heat loads like sweating men. I heard that men sweat more than women, whatever, those are the 100 watts, and you got a lot more people in office buildings than in homes. You got more computers, so the cooling challenge is far more important. Let me start with the facade. The facade was quite a huge task, since from an aesthetical perspective, we basically had just one constraint to our board. They told us, you can do with this building whatever you like, please make it the best green achievements, whatever you can do, and ask new architects for the interiors, blah, 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 blah. But the exterior of this building has to look exactly as it has done before, since this is mainly due to the fact that this building is of high iconographic value for Deutsche Bank. It's pretty well known as Deutsche's headquarters worldwide, and wherever you find announcements or news on Deutsche Bank, might it be in the internet or in the print media, it's pretty often connected with photos of our headquarters, more often than with our competitors. It's either Joe Ackerman or it's the photo of the headquarters. So this is why this was of huge importance. And I'm telling this because this, of course, is a technical problem, because facade technology is 25 years further ahead than it has been when the building was constructed. Of course, we use triple glazing now. We got operable windows, all the things that the old curtain facade didn't have, and we had to introduce all those things without changing the width or the size and the view of the profiles and so on. And finally, it worked out. We completely renewed the facade and have afterwards been asked by old Frankfurters, so when the hell do you start your refurbishment? And we said, well, we're done already. So this worked out pretty fine. The new facade, what you can hear, has got an heat ingress cut by almost 1/3, which is more important for the office buildings. Heat losses are cut down by almost 2/3, and what is even more interesting is that within the new facade, we can open every second window of this building individual by the banker sitting behind the window. He can just push a button and the window will automatically open. This, of course, is first of all raising the comfort level for the people working there in high-rise with operable windows, and second of all, it's a huge energy issue. since of course we can significantly lower the amount of mechanical air supply on the office areas when you get fresh air from operable windows in there. Key, as I said earlier, key in an office building is how do you chill, how do you get the internal heat loads out of this building. Prior to the refurbishment, we had an air conditioning system that was air related, that was directly bound to the mechanical air supply, so still standard in lots of areas that you just chill the air you pump through the building and therefore make your cooling for the building. This led to the fact that we had an air exchange rate on the standard office areas of 7 times. We completely switched this system to a water-based chilled ceiling system that allowed us to drop the air we pump through the building from a 7 exchange ratio down to 1.5, and this again significantly saves you electrical energy and of course extremely raises your comfort level, since you don't hear any buzzes from the air conditioning system anymore. You don't have any moved air in your area, so a lot higher comfort with a lot lower cost. Pretty simple issue. And what you can see here, now I'm coming back to what I told you about the concrete carcass of our building, that we were pretty happy to have this heavy concrete material to store our heat in for free. So this is a visualization of the summer situation during the day when the office is occupied. People are sweating, computers are putting heat into the areas. The hot heated air will go up in the space. We will not have any suspended ceiling. We have the pure concrete in the office areas so that the air can strike along the pure concrete. The concrete will heat up and will take a significant amount of the heat that is produced away into the concrete and store it there for free. Basically, the concrete, in theory, heats up from approximately 16 degrees up to almost 22 degrees, and this is the amount of energy that is stored in the concrete for free. During night times, we heard exactly this earlier. During night times, the building will automatically operate its windows, open it if it's possible, flush the building with fresh, chilled night air, and the energy stored in the concrete slabs will go away and the building will be chilled for the next day. So we're not the first ones integrating systems like this, but we're the first one introducing things like this in a huge refurbishment project. Again, since we don't need any suspended ceilings anymore, we gain a lot of more clear height in the building, which adds to a higher comfort level in terms of noise, and so people feel much more comfortable in here. And this is the key of all, that still in most office building, the kind of schizophrenic situation, especially in spring and autumn situations, is that you got parts of your building that require to be heated, like northern facades or whatever, while other parts of your building already require chilling energy. And especially in modern buildings with a lot of IT infrastructure, you will have chillers running throughout the year anyway, because you have to get rid of this energy. And the schizophrenic situation in many office buildings is that you got the heat system here and the chilling system there, and they're both running against one taking care of the north facade, the other one of the south facade, and you got them running against each other. Pretty simple issue. We've not invented all of this. As I said, it's standard, proven technology. Connect this to a heat pump and use the heat that is produced by your chilling system to heat the parts of the building where you still need heat, or to make up, or to heat your warm water wherever you need. And that this will basically will disconnect your whole building from the need of external heat energy. So with this system you see here, we run this building completely autonomous from external heat energy for about 300 to 320 days a year, which basically means that this whole building only needs heat energy for, in the worst case, 50 days a year. The rest of the year, we produce our own heat, which means that the last external energy source we need for this building is the electricity. Let me briefly run you through what we've done on the electricity. We heard a lot already. We introduced a new lighting system in our open office area with, of course, motion detectors and daylight sensors in every building axis. And we discussed a lot with lighting manufacturers. We heard things on that. We decided for standard tube lightings instead of LEDs, since we believe that the LED light is, from a technology perspective, still not that far that it will be stable and competitive on the long run in terms of high quality office lighting, because there are some, I do not want to dig into detail, there are still some issues to solve with the LED lighting, that it gets its perfect energy output, for example, only in a very limited temperature area, and as soon as the light itself gets too hot, the light will still be there, but the energy balance of the LED will drop down. So we decided for energetic reasons to stay with the standard tube lighting and to ask about the prismatic technology that distributes the light. We heard that earlier, that this is where a lot of energy gets lost, and that basically standard tube lighting systems have got an output of, in the best case, 65%. And we just approached the lighting industry. This cannot be. Please think twice about it. What can we do there? And we ended up with a lighting system that has got an output of almost 90%, saves us a lot of energy. Let me come to the last point, since I have to speed up a bit. Elevator technology. What we introduced to this building is a new traffic management with a destination dispatch system that allows you to sort people into the elevator cabins according to the floor where they want to go, which means a lot less stops to get the same amount of people into the building. Less elevator stops, again, means a significant amount of energy that can be saved. And my most beloved issue in this whole building is what we've done with the energy recovery of the elevators. Again, a pretty simple issue, that an elevator in a building always works, as you all know, with a counterweight, and as soon as the elevator cabin is not as heavy as the counterweight is, the counterweight just pulls the elevator through the building without the necessity of the elevator machine to put energy into the system. So the counterweight basically pulls your elevator machine, and what is an electrical machine where you pull on? It's simply a generator. It produces you electrical energy. So in a standard building, this energy is changed to heat and then pushed out of the building. This is why elevator machine rooms on top of high-rises are always very hot. We said, why should we put this energy to heat and blow it out of the building? Let's use this electrical energy and feed it into the grid of the building and use it for lighting our areas. We did that. Pretty simple system. The box is about this size, doesn't cost a thing in a refurbishment like this. And this leads for our elevators, for example, that prior to refurbishment, we used 295 megawatt hours per year, and we dropped the energy usage of our elevators down to 135 megawatt hours per year, always having in mind that we got 20% more people in this building than we had prior to the refurbishment. Where does this all lead to? Concerning CO2 emissions, let me come to an end. The old Taunusanlage, prior to the refurbishment, had a total primary energy consumption of about 36 gigawatt hours per year, which equals 11,600 tons per year, or 4.8 tons per employee sitting in this building. After the refurbishment, we cut our primary energy use, since, as I said, only the electricity is left, cut it down in half to 15.8 gigawatt hours per year. And now, taking into consideration that we buy the electricity we need, we're going to buy from renewable resources, from water power plants. Taking this into consideration, the carbon emissions of this building dropped by 89%, and now the last point, that we got 20% more people in this building due to what we call new workplace strategies and desk sharing technologies. Breaking down the energy consumption of this building to the headcount leads to 400 kilograms of CO2 per year per employee, and this is 91% less of what it has been prior to refurbishment. And this is my final statement, now again having in mind that, first of all, approximately 40% of the world's CO2 emissions come from buildings, a huge amount of this, again, from office buildings, and having in mind 90% approximately of the office buildings in Western inner cities is 25 years old, then this is the key issue we have to deal with for the next years. Thank you.